filmed this yesterday, wasn't happy with it. The light was wrong, the talking was wrong, so let's do it again, because, you know, that's fine. It's fine. Okay, so first of all, we've got Return to Telos. This was not what I was expecting. Gotta say, I wasn't the biggest fan of this one. It was still quite a good story, but overall the best bit of it was Tom Baker being the Doctor. That was just great. So yeah, not my favourite, but definitely worth a mention. Next we have Doom Coalition 2, the 8th Doctor series, Part 2, featuring Paul McGann as the Doctor. We've also got Liv Chenka, and we've got Hattie Morahan, who plays Helen Sinclair, and we've got River Song as well, and more on that in a second. So the first disc is called Beachhead, and it features the Vord, which is an interesting villain. The cover looks great. The covers on all of these look great, or most of these. I think Doom Coalition 2 is the better of the two I'm going to show today. Yeah, the Vord are an interesting race. They didn't really get a proper go in the Keys of Marinus, and they've sort of been reinvented, I feel, reimagined for this. Next we have Scenes from Her Life, which is very much as the title may suggest. They are, so yeah, they are scenes from her being Kalira's life. Kalira being one of the characters, that is. The 11's in there as well, Mark Bonner, which is good. It's a bit odd. All takes place in the time vortex on board a ship that is being broken apart. So that's an interesting idea. Next up we have The Gift. My least favourite of this box set. Some of it didn't make sense to me. Some of it was a little disjointed. I don't know. It just wasn't one of my favourites. I preferred the others, really. So that's that. It takes place in, I can't remember. I think it's San Francisco, but it may be New York. I can't remember. And they're all American except for this English guy who wants to do King Lear, and he goes a bit mad, which is, you know, weird. Next and last for this box set we have the Sonomancer, which is where we finally get a bit of River Song. River Song, if you're an avid watcher of my channel, I'm not the biggest fan of River Song, but she sort of fits. She sort of fits in this series, in the Doom Coalition series. She works well within the plot. She's there for a reason, not just sort of thrown into the mix for, you know, giggles. But yeah, this is a relatively good good story. I won't go into too many details because I'll wreck it. But there we are. Okay, moving on, we have Doom Coalition 3. Featuring all your favourites, including more Riv Song, more Liv Chenka, more Helen Sinclair. Okay, we start off with quite a weak one for me. It's just very slow paced. Absent Friends. There are some funny bits in here, but overall it's not the best, really. It's just sort of there. So that's a shame. Next up we have the 8th piece. The story for this box set sort of starts to get going. You've got the Doctor, Helen, Liv and River all split up in different places. River sort of jumping between them all. So yeah, that's the Clockwork people are very steampunk. I like the look of them, and I can just imagine them. And the whole box set from this onwards starts to go very clockwork. I mean, there's a character, a Time Lord called the Clocksmith, and they're finding bits of a chronometer, which is a clockwork piece of engineering. And there are 8 bits of it scattered across time and space, and you know, it's definitely odd. And I usually like clockwork, but listening to it for too long did start to sort of send me up the wall. Next we have the Doomsday Chronometer. Again, lots of clockwork, follows directly on from the last. Whereas Doom Coalition 1 had sort of what we assumed were very disjointed stories, it became one whole. This is notably one whole. And the same with Doom Coalition 2, this was quite disjointed, but you soon came to realise that it was all part of the same plot. So this is completely different. This is literally going, yes, we're following this arc, this is happening right now, happening. And I suppose it needs to, because that's where the story is happening. It's where it's moving forward, otherwise we'd just be stuck with solo adventures, and we've had that. Next we've got, and last for this box set, we've got the Crucible of Souls. This is sort of the culmination of this box set, and hopefully the end of the clockwork ticking in my ear, tick, 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 tick. It sees all our companions rejoin together. They're coming back, and they're, you know, they're just sort of back. They're here. Hooray. With Doom Coalition, the third disc in each box set so far has been the weakest. Except for Doom Coalition 3, which is the third box set, and that is the weakest so far. Yet it is the most important, but I prefer Doom Coalition 2. Next up, this is the War Doctor, Infernal Devices. It's the only one I've had a chance to listen to. I listened to it just after Christmas, because I got it as a Christmas present. So I listened to that as I was building something, and yeah, it was pretty good. It was easy listening, really good stories. Legion of the Lost is the first disc, and this sees the Doctor and his new friend here, who, this is a big spoiler alert for this story, so if you don't want to hear it, mute or something. I don't know what you want to do. She dies. She dies in at the very start of this story, and it's about how the Time Lords are doing this terrible thing of resurrecting people just to kill all over again. And it's an actual line from one of the televised Doctor Who stories, I think, or it might have been in a previous Big Finish release. Either way, the Doctor gets involved, and he goes to try and stop it, and manages to stop it, but the Time Lords are upset, and he gets arrested. He's now under arrest, under Time Lord arrest. And during this arrest, it takes us on to the next disc, which is called A Thing of Guile, or yeah, I think it's Guile. He's sent on a mission with some others, including Jacqueline Pearce's character, Cardinal Elistra, and they go on a merry adventure to find out what the Daleks are up to. And it turns out the Daleks are doing unspeakable things. So the Time Lords are doing unspeakable things, the Daleks are doing unspeakable things, everyone's doing unspeakable things in a time of war. So nobody's really better than the other, which is just setting things up. Lastly, in this box set we have the Neverwhen, and this is very, very good, very conceptual. I like it. So the Doctor ends up in a battlefield, and it's a battlefield that it's between the Daleks and the Time Lords, because it's the last great Time War, and every now and again the whole battlefield will just morph. It sort of changes into it goes very primitive, so bows and arrows, armour, sort of chainmail suits, that sort of thing, and then it'll change back to Daleks versus Time Lords, high energy weapons and everything, and it's all very good. The Doctor finds himself on the wrong side of the battlefield. That's all I'm going to say, because otherwise I would spoil it too much. Even that might be a bit too much of a spoiler. So never mind. Next up, we're moving away from Doctor Who, and we're moving to Torchwood. This is the Torchwood Archive. This was the 10th anniversary CD in a card case. It's got an unfoldable Dewberry Firkin. That's the Torchwood Archive itself. You got a lovely picture on this side of the cast, which look great here. But they are all holograms, which is true within the story. They are all holograms. Obviously, it's set in the far future, so they're all dead except for Captain Jack. Captain Jack's still alive. So it's basically this guy trying to find out about this thing called the Lucky Penny or something like that. The Unlucky Penny or something. Bad Penny. The Bad Penny, that's it. Which keeps coming back to Torchwood. And it's something to do with the committee, which is the storyline that's been going through most of Series 1 and the Torchwood Archive. And my next one I'm going to show you as well has connections to is Torchwood Outbreak. Now there's a character within most of these called Norton Folgate, and he's becoming a very interesting character by this point. We think he's part of the committee, and he probably is, but he may just be something more. We don't know yet. We just don't know. He's definitely got a good side and a bad side, but it proves for an interesting storyline, which I appreciate. Just want to point out, seeing the hazard symbol in the background of your discs, yeah, it's going to be bad. This is definitely very Torchwood, very gruesome in your ears. There's lots of scratching down to, like, through the skin and the flesh and everything, and they make it very visual within your mind, but very sort of gruesome in the sound of it as well, which is, I mean, it astounds me how well these Big Finish audios are produced, because they are consistently very good at painting a picture. They've got to be. It's not as if you're going, hello? You wouldn't know if they're at the door, if they've opened the door. With these, you get, oh, there's someone at the door. Oh, hello there. It's all very well choreographed and done. The sound's excellent. The painting of the picture in your head is very good. Anyway, Torchwood Outbreak. I was waiting for ages to listen to this, and then one Friday in half term I just sat down and listened to it as I was building something different though. So each disc of these has a different character on the front. This is disc 1, or stage 1, incubation, no. Because first you know, obviously. Then disc 2, stage 2, prodromal, love. First you know, then you love, then you kill. Stage 3, invasion, kill. There it is. So, yeah, the back covers are cool. We've got incubation, prodromal, invasion on the back of these. And it gives a little definition. So, incubation, the development of an infection from the time the pathogen enters the body until signs or symptoms first appear. Prodromal, relating to or denoting the period between the appearance or initial symptoms and the full development of the virus. And then invasion, active replication or multiplication of the pathogen. Symptoms are very pronounced. So that's invasion in the sense of, like, disease and things. And then on the back of this one you got bad thinking citizen, and then on the back of this one you got good thinking citizen. So yeah, basically Cardiff is put on lockdown when an outbreak of this horrible disease is released, possibly by accident or possibly on purpose. I think it's on purpose, because now they're the remedy. Without spoiling this too much, it is a spoiler, so again, shut your ears. The pathogens come out, and they're trying to look at ways of curing it, and they're going, oh, how do we do that? And then they go, oh, I know. They've had it all along, obviously, but they're injecting people with something that they'll know that they're being, or what they're doing. Basically, it's a way of tracking the population of Cardiff, and they were going to roll it out across the whole of the UK, but I mean, it might still happen. I'm not sure. At this point, I sort of lost it, and it was too gruesome to out. So that is all of the Big Finish audios that I had to review. Coming soon, we've got, what have we got? War Doctors 3 and 4. I want to listen to them next. I've got Dark Eyes 2 that's been sat on the shelf. I've got another couple of Fourth Doctors. I've got 3 Fifth Doctors from way back when. Key 2 time. So yeah, looking forward to them. And Doom Coalition 4 is on order. It's on order currently and should be here either next week or the week after. I'm hoping next week, so I can listen to it. Thank you for watching and listening. I suppose it's more, appropriate. And I shall see you next time for something else. Fingers crossed the slate works. Bye.